How many times have you packed your suitcase thinking you're fully prepared, only to find out at the airport that one small item could completely ruin your trip, get your bag flagged, or even get you stopped at security? Yeah, sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing: airlines in 2026 are quietly tightening restrictions. And most travelers have no idea what's actually being banned until it's too late. And today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening. Because trust me, one of these items might already be sitting in your suitcase right now. And before we dive in, I want you to do something real quick. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the weirdest thing you've ever packed for a trip? You'd be surprised what people admit. Alright, let's get into it. So, picture this. You're at the airport, you've checked in, you're feeling good, maybe even grabbing a coffee, and suddenly your name gets called over the speaker. Your heart drops. You walk up to the counter and they say, "Sir, we need to check your bag." And just like that, your smooth travel day turns into stress mode. And the worst part? Most of the time, it's because of something you didn't even know was restricted. And that's exactly why this matters right now more than ever. Because airlines aren't always shouting these updates from the rooftops. They just quietly enforce them, and travelers get caught off guard. Now let's talk about one of the biggest shockers: portable chargers. Yeah, power banks, the thing almost everyone carries now, especially if you're traveling long distances. But here's the twist: airlines are cracking down hard on certain types, especially high-capacity lithium batteries. And if yours exceeds the allowed limit or isn't properly labeled, it can get confiscated instantly. No warning, no second chances. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, I've carried mine for years. What changed? Well, safety concerns have gone up, and airlines are not taking risks anymore, especially after multiple in-flight incidents involving overheating devices. And suddenly, that little gadget you thought was harmless becomes a liability. Now here's another one that might surprise you, smart luggage. Yeah, those sleek, high-tech suitcases with built-in charging ports and GPS tracking. They look amazing. They feel futuristic. But if the battery inside isn't removable, boom problem, airlines may refuse to check it in. And now you're stuck at the counter, trying to figure things out while everyone behind you is getting annoyed. Not a great situation, right? And speaking of things that seem totally harmless, let's talk about certain food items, especially homemade or liquid-based foods, soups, sauces, even certain spreads, depending on where you're flying from and to. These can get flagged, delayed, or thrown out completely. And I've seen travelers argue over a jar of homemade chutney like it's gold. But rules are rules, and airport security is not the place you want to negotiate. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, You know, some airlines are now paying closer attention to overpacked suitcases. Yeah, not just weight, but how densely packed your bag is, because it affects scanning visibility. And if your bag looks like a black hole on the X-ray machine, guess what? Extra screening, delays, sometimes even manual inspection. And nobody wants their perfectly folded clothes turned into chaos at security. And let's not forget about something people rarely think about: self-defense items. Things like small tactical tools, even if they're legal in your country, might not be allowed in your carry-on or even checked luggage depending on the airline and destination. And this is where a lot of travelers get caught off guard, because they assume legal means allowed everywhere, but that's not how aviation rules work. Now let me hit you with something unexpected: certain everyday electronics with heating elements, like travel kettles or mini irons, are starting to raise eyebrows in some regions, especially when combined with power compatibility concerns. And while they're not outright banned everywhere, they can definitely slow you down or trigger additional checks. And again, it's not about what you intend. It's about how it looks from a security perspective. And here's a big one: people overlook duplicate items. Yeah, carrying multiple of the same thing, especially electronics or sealed goods, can make it look like you're transporting for resale, not personal use. And that opens up a whole different conversation at customs. And trust me, that's not a conversation you want to have when you're tired from a long flight. Now, let's switch gears for a second, because this isn't just about what not to pack, it's about how to pack smarter. And one of the easiest ways to stay ahead is to always check your airline's updated guidelines before flying. I know, it sounds obvious, but most people skip this step and rely on what worked last year. And that's exactly where mistakes happen, because rules evolve, and what was okay in 2024 might not fly in 2026. And here's a pro tip that frequent flyers swear by: keep A safe pack list. A go-to checklist of items you know are always allowed, and build your packing around that. Instead of guessing every time, it saves time, reduces stress, and keeps you moving smoothly through the airport like a pro. Now let me ask you this, have you ever had something taken out of your bag at the airport? Be honest. Drop it in the comments, because your story might actually help someone else avoid the same mistake. And if you're getting value from this, go ahead and hit that like button, because it tells the algorithm you want more travel tips like this. And trust me, I've got plenty more coming your way. Alright, back to the listing. Other thing airlines are quietly watching. Loose batteries? Yeah, even regular ones. If they're just floating around in your bag without proper casing, it's a red flag. Always store them correctly. Ideally, in original packaging or a battery case. It's a small detail, but it makes a big difference. And let's talk about something a little controversial. Certain personal care items, especially aerosols and pressurized containers, are being looked at more carefully. And while many are still allowed within limits, exceeding those limits or packing them incorrectly can cause issues. And again, it's not worth the risk when you can just buy what you need at your destination. Now here's the bottom line. Travel in 2026 is not just about getting from point A to point B. It's about navigating a system that's constantly evolving, and the travelers who stay informed are the ones who travel stress-free, while everyone else learns the hard way. So next time you're packing your suitcase, don't just think about what you need. Think about what could stop you, delay you, or cost you time. Because sometimes, it's not the big things that cause problems. It's the small, overlooked details. And if you made it this far, I want to know what's one item you're now double-checking before your next trip. Drop it below, and let's help each other travel smarter. And hey, if you're serious about avoiding travel mistakes and discovering insider tips that airlines don't always tell you, make sure you subscribe to Golden Age Travel Tips, because this is just the beginning. Your next trip could be smoother, faster, and way less stressful if you know what to look out for. And now you do.